guys, welcome to part 2 of this dresser makeover video. So now I am done with painting the drawers. I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding. So I'm using a fine sandpaper so I can get a really nice soft buttery surface, and I'm just doing it very lightly. I'm not trying to take the paint off, I'm just trying to smooth it out. So very lightly, the light touch, just go in the direction of your brush strokes. You don't want to go against the brush strokes. If you don't like the streaks of the brushes, you can go against it if you like, but I do. I like the look that it gives and the effect that it has on the furniture. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum up all the dust. And you want to take your time while sanding indoors because you don't want the dust to start flying all over the place. It's not the healthiest to breathe in. Okay. I do have an air purifier in the room with me with my vacuum. So, yeah, you might want to open a window if you're doing this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding off the rest of the dresser around the openings of where the drawers are going to go. Just very lightly, you guys, okay? Just to smooth it out, to make it nice and buttery looking so it looks professionally done and not like you did it yourself. I noticed that some of you guys were saying you're gonna do this to your kitchen cabinets. Chalk paint, personally, is durable, but in a kitchen setting, I wouldn't use it there. Okay, so this is the Valspar sealing wax. It's more of a creamy, liquidy wax instead of the one that's in the jar that's more really thick. I like this one because it's just easier to work with. I just brush on a very thin coat of it, and I've had this small can for a very long time as well. I do like that I can use just the small amount instead of having to use large clumps of the other wax that's more of a thick kind of waxy or creamy, texture. This one's more of a liquidy type of formula. So it's not runny or anything, but it's definitely more of a liquid formula. The other waxes are like wax, okay? They're like almost like Vaseline, okay? So I prefer this. It's easier and less mess to deal with. So I use the cheap brush from Walmart and just brush it on in the same direction. My brush strokes are going in the same direction as the previous coat of chalk paint that I put on. And you guys will notice that I keep taking stuff off of it here and there because I was playing with my dog in the video. Well, you guys didn't see that, and leaning over the dresser, I forgot to lint roll myself, so dog hair was falling on top of the wax while I was painting. So I had to stop and take it off and then brush again. So note to self, if you do have pets, don't play with them while doing your projects, or you will end up having dog or cat hair in your projects. Okay, so just something to put out there so you don't have to go back and look at your project and see part of your fur baby in your dresser. Okay, all right. So yeah, I do love this wax. I do like how it applies. I like how it finishes and everything. And like it gives you a very nice finish. It's a satin finish, but I did buff it out using a hand buffer once I was done. Just to make that clear. Okay, you can definitely use your hand, use a lint-free cloth to buff it out. I used a buffer that we bought for our car. And no, actually, my mistake. Actually, I bought a different one for my car. This one I bought specifically for my projects. Yes, I did. Okay, because I'm thinking about it now. The one for the car is much bigger. This one is smaller and it's more personalized. It's like just for your hands. Like you can handle this by yourself. The bigger one, my husband usually deals with that one. So I really hope that, you guys are finding these videos inspirational and hopefully giving you some ideas on, refurbishing, redoing, or giving something that you have in your house already a makeover instead of throwing it out. Sometimes it's really sad to just see people throw out, beautiful hardwood furniture that's made with real wood and replace it with like, compressed wood furniture, which is not going to last. So, you can always give real wood furniture a makeover instead of giving it away, you guys. All right, so just look at the stuff you have instead of throwing it out. See if you can get creative and give it a little, makeover. Give it some confidence. Maybe that's all it needs, a little bit of confidence, okay? Everybody needs a little bit of confidence here and there, even furniture. I don't think furniture has feelings, but you know, it could. Who knows? I don't know. All right, so I'm putting the wax all over, and then you're gonna let this dry completely, okay? You'll be able to touch it and see if it's dry. If there are any parts where you see that there's like a big chunk of wax, just brush it off. You don't want chunky parts of wax all over. So now I use the lint roller to lint roll my buffer because there was dog hair on it. So it was on the floor. So I'm just gonna lint roll that and then just go ahead and buff it. So this is gonna take away most of the shine because I didn't want a shiny dresser. If you like the shine, you can definitely leave it as is. But the buffer, pushes in the wax into the chalk paint and kind of locks it in and gives me this, well, a dulled satin finish, if that makes sense. It's a dull looking satin finish. It's not too shiny, but it's also not matte, okay? So I'm just going to do this all over the dresser and just leave it and let it do its own thing. Oh, by the way, my mistake, don't let it completely dry. Okay, once you're done painting, go ahead and buff it and then you can let it dry. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing to the drawers. I totally forgot that the cream wax, you don't really have to let it dry to buff it. You can buff right after you're done applying it. So you could do that right away. Okay, if you don't want to buff it, you could just leave it alone and let it dry to the finish that it has. All right, so I'm just gonna do the same thing, lightly sand the drawers and then apply the wax over them. I'm really sorry about that mistake, you guys. So, well, it's not really a mistake. It can get kind of confusing using paint and waxes and things like that. So you could definitely buff if you choose to after applying the wax, or just let it dry. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take this, Lucy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape off the side of the drawers, and I put the tape there just to give it more of a clean look when I finish paintings, instead of having random brush strokes all over, because I have bought furniture that was pre-painted by a seller and they didn't do this step, and it really bothered me that I could wait, hold on. I think you guys just heard Lucy bust in. But anyways, this is my favorite part of the video. We're going to play with some spray paint, some gold spray paint. And you see that raised edge right there? We're going to spray paint that edge to give it this like revealing gold effect. That's what I'm gonna call it, okay? It looks like gold is just coming out of the drawer, like it's pushing its way out, okay? And it gives it kind of this feathered look. It's absolutely gorgeous in person. So I go over that area holding the spray can about 12 inches, 10 to 12 inches away from the drawer. I think I said dresser, from the drawer, and right above the edge, and just going straight across 4 to 6 times. Okay. So you see that? It's a very simple thing to do, but if you are nervous about doing this, please test it out before going over your finished drawer, okay? Just test it out before you even start doing this. If you have a drawer like this, just spray paint it in that area to see if you can actually do it. And then you can always just, sand it off or wipe it off or just paint over it, okay? So now for the dresser doors, the doors that cover the 3 drawers in the middle of the dresser, I did the same thing. I primed them with the bonding primer, and I also am going to paint them, and I put 2 coats of the chalk paint on them. I also lightly sanded them and applied the Valspar wax on them as well. Okay, so now we're just gonna cut through the rest of the video because we're at almost 10 minutes here. So you guys, I did find hardware to replace the old hardware on the doors, but unfortunately they didn't match. One brass was naturally brighter and the other was old gold, looking color. So one was a brighter brass, one was more of a older brassy looking color. So I just decided to spray paint them both. Yeah, both. Since I'm not going to be touching them a lot, I'm just going to be touching the handles anyway. So, I figured why not? It should work. And just to make them match, so I lightly spray painted them to match. And I put up the little handles against it, and it didn't look too bad. It's gonna work. I don't think if anyone could notice, well, get out my house. I'm just, I'm serious. Look, it's some effort put into these projects, okay? If someone could notice that you did something, and it's just tiny, tiny bit off, well, tell them to get out. Okay, but I couldn't notice. My husband couldn't notice, and the kids couldn't notice. All right, so this is how I do the gold inlay. That's what I'm gonna call it, of the doors. You see, the way they put the design on the door and the molding and everything created this beautiful inlay, and I wanted that to really stand out and pop, so I decided to paint the inside part of it gold. So it got a little tricky, but I figured it out. I used a piece of paper and a pencil to trace out where the inlay started and where it ended, and just to kind of cut out almost like a what you call it, a stencil, to cut out a stencil or a guide to help keep my paint just in that section of the door, in the inlay section of it. Okay, so you guys see I have my pencil on its side. And I don't know if you guys remember doing this as kids, when you would put the coin under a piece of paper and shade over it, and then you'll see the face of the person on the coin on the piece of paper. So it's similar to that. Okay, this is just doing it on a wood door for a dresser. So as you guys can see now, I'm just cutting out the shape that I got. So this is pretty much the perfect, most accurate shape I can get. Instead of doing this freehand and trying to draw it separately and going over it by shading over it, I got more of a accurate size of that area, and then just to cut it out and put that there to guide me to spray in the right section. Okay, so this one stencil, you can use it on both doors. Just flip it. Okay, just make sure when you use it the first time, let it dry completely, because you don't want to flip it with wet paint on it or wet spray paint on it, and then it transfers onto the door in a spot where you do not want it. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing again with the paper, tracing out where the inlay is, where it ends, where it starts, and just cutting it out and using it as a stencil from the piece of paper. So I hope you guys, you could see that it's super easy to get this effect. And I was super excited to show you guys how to do this, because once I figured out what I wanted to do with the door, which there were many ideas, and I decided on this one, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to share this with you guys. I know you're going to love it. I hope it's going to inspire you to find yourself a really nice piece of furniture, for a good price, and redo it and just be proud of yourself and look at your masterpiece. You know what I mean? So once I have my stencils cut out, I'm going to tape them down and just spray. I do recommend wearing gloves for this step, because I did use my hands to hold down the paper as well. So if you have gloves, wear gloves, because I ended up getting paint on my hands, but I took it off. So I don't know if you guys could see, it looks super gorgeous once the gold paint is in that area. It just makes it pop. It gives it this very luxurious look. And I do know this look is not for everyone. Some people do not like the extra fancy look. They like plain things. So you definitely do not have to do this part. But if you're like me and you like a little bit of bling and a little bit of dazzle, razzle, dazzles here and there, you're going to love this, okay? I have another project that I will be working on. It is a desk for my daughter's room. If you guys want to see that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it if you can do that, just to let me know if you're enjoying these videos. And it also helps me by, letting YouTube know that you guys enjoy the videos by giving these videos thumbs up. So if you want to see the desk redo for my daughters, which it's a gorgeous desk, by the way, it has one of those covers that you could pull down. let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and it can also help YouTube know that you guys enjoy these videos. All right, so now that I'm done spraying it, I took my stencil off. You guys look how pretty that looks. It looks gorgeous. It doesn't even look like there's wood in there, but it is. It's wood, it's solid wood, and this dresser, not nightstand, this dresser is going to last forever, okay? Forever, because it's solid wood. Okay, I do love solid wood. I just don't like stained wood, if that makes sense to anyone. Certain things I do like stained woods, but I don't like big furniture, like giant big furniture that's all stained wood. It just doesn't do it for me. Okay, I do have two nightstands and a armoire to do with the same color. If you want to see that as well, just comment down below. Let me know if you want to see that and see what I do with those. I think you'll like them as well. So speeding up this part, doing the same thing, shading out a stencil, cutting it out, and covering all the areas where I don't need paint to go at, and then just spray painting it. Make sure you wear gloves. As you guys can see, the paint's going all over my fingers, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to comment and let me know that the paint is going all over my fingers. I know, I could see it. Okay, so once we get that done, we could take it off, and this is how the doors are going to look when they're done. So I already have my dresser in my room, and I've been using it for months. Please know that most of the dresser was done months ago. I only finished the doors this week. Took some time to get hardware that would match, and for me to figure out what I was going to do with the doors, because there were a few ideas, and I was also waiting for YouTube to figure out what they were doing with my channel. Okay, so I was waiting on them to make decisions and figuring out ideas. But anyways, as you guys could see, I'm busy painting the gold inlay part of the door. And I'm doing this to give the gold, which is a bright gold, a older gold look. If you guys remember, I sprayed the gold part of the drawers before I put the wax on. So the wax was applied after the gold. So it gave it this old gold look. So I'm doing the same thing on the doors to give it that same look so that the golds match and it doesn't look off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add the hardware, and as you guys could see, the hardware doesn't look that bad or different from the door itself. It matches pretty well, so I'm okay with that. If it's like a tiny bit off with the other hardware, I'm okay with that. I could have taken off all the hardware and resprayed them all, and I might do that. I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know in the community tab section if I do that, but for now it's not really bothering me that much. I feel like the gold hardware on the doors over time is going to darken on its own. So I'll just give it time and see if it happens or not. If it doesn't, then I'll respray the other hardware or darken it myself. So this is how the dresser used to look, and this is how it looks now. Excuse the flip-flop. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all very soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.